how to level an E&M code. So the person asked, would it be possible to briefly go over your E&M leveling tool? Where I work, the providers level the visits. I code all diagnosis codes and add the appropriate modifiers. I'm really weak on being able to level E&M. So I can't promise the briefly part, but I will definitely share my technique for doing E&M leveling. Basically, this is a system I teach. I've been teaching that. This is actually how I got into doing my review blitz. I started tutoring people that were struggling with E&M. Back in the day, I took my exam in 1999. The E&M questions on the board exam were like 25. Now they're 10. So a lot of people were failing the exam just because E&M. So I would do tutoring on it. I came up with a system, and it really worked. And so many students like, I finally get E&M. So hopefully you'll have that aha moment tonight. If not, we do have a 3-hour class on E&M that's on OnDemand, and it's this system, and I go over it a little bit slower. So one of the first things that I would teach you to do if you're one of my students is to mark up your E&M section of your CPT manual. I'm a very visual learner. I need visual cues to help me. So I did this to help myself. So the 3 or the 4 possible letters that you would be writing next to your history bullet is PEDC. And the same for exam, which stands for problem-focused, expanded problem-focused, detailed, or comprehensive. And then SLMH for the medical decision-making, which stands for straightforward, low, moderate, high. And then the other notation that you want to make is whether or not the particular code is a 3 of 3 code or a 2 of 3 code. And I'm going to explain all this, so if you're scratching your head, just hang with me here. So my system, what I call it, is locate your hem in time. It's a little rhyme that I teach my students, and I actually tell them on their exam booklets or in real world, a scratch piece of paper, Post-it or whatever, write this down. Locate with a line next to it, HEM, all with their own line, which stands for history, exam, and medical decision making, which are the 3 key elements of E&M coding, and then time. Sometimes time can be the controlling factor, not the HEM, what I call the HEM, the history, the exam, or medical decision making. So, and the locate, of course, is the category and subcategory of E&M. Was it an office new patient? Was it a hospital ER? That sort of thing. So when I do this lecture, I spend a good hour plus just going over the categories and subcategories, because I like to say, if you need to get in the right church and the right pew. So you could be in the right pew but the wrong church. So we have to find the right church first for the locate. Once we're there and we've narrowed it down, for example, to office, we know that the location was office. And now we just need to know, is it a new patient or an established? So then, we pick accordingly. So let me show you that. Here's a blown up view of one E&M code from my manual. And I just picked 99343. I'm hearing a little rustling there. So we've got 3 bulleted key components here. They always are the same for E&M. History will always be the first bullet. Exam will always be the second bullet. And medical decision-making will always be the third bullet. So if it's the type of E&M code that has bullets, they'll always be in this order. Okay, so because this particular code was a detailed history, I wrote a D next to it. And it's a detailed exam, so I wrote a D next to it. Moderate medical decision-making, I wrote an M. Now, you got to be careful with the medical decision-making because the controlling word is toward the end of the line, so don't pick M for medical, okay? So this one becomes a DDM. It's shorthand. So if you were writing this on your exam booklet or on a Post-it note for a real case, now you're going to start seeing these choices. So here it was a DDM, so we would have had a D, and an M. Oops, turn that down. Okay. So now let's look at them as a group. So we've narrowed it down to we're dealing with a new patient. So there's a new office patient. So there's only 5 choices, or what people like to call levels, and that's why this is called leveling. So we've got 99201, also known as level 1. If you were to define it using my system, it would be called a PPS. Your level 2 would be an EES for expanded problem focused, straightforward. Your level 3 would be a DDL, detailed, low. Your level 4 would be a CCM, comprehensive, moderate. And then your level 5 would be a comprehensive, high. Okay? So just looking at the first bullet, you can start to see the hierarchy. You've got P, E, D, C, and then C again. So of course, E&M coding can't be easy and have 4 codes because there's 4 choices for each, history exam and medical decision making, and they got to have 5 levels. And that's not true of all the categories and subcategories, but for a lot of them it is. Now look at the second bullet. This is for the exam element. We've got a problem-focused, expanded problem-focused, detailed, comprehensive. So it actually followed the pattern that the history one did. Now, this is what it's like for a new office patient, but for another category and subcategory that has 5 levels, it is sometimes different. So you can't even say a problem focus is always a level 1 or oftentimes it's true, but you can't even have a hard and fast set of rules for that. So you really have to do them individually. And then the last bullet for medical decision making, always S for straightforward comes first. Now you'll notice with this one, the S shows up on the level 1 and the level 2. And then it goes low, moderate, high. Okay, so you need to kind of understand that hierarchy. So PEDC, or SLMH. And so when you're reading a scenario, you're trying to pull out that information so that you can add it on these lines. Okay, so on the board exam, quite often, it used to be all of them, but I think it's only 8 out of the 10 questions from what I'm hearing from people taking it, where they actually tell you the physician did an expanded problem-focused history, so you're going to circle E, and exam, so you've got E and E, and made moderate medical decision-making, so EEM. So you're going to abstract that information from the scenario. Now, in the real world, physicians don't do that. But because E&M is so complicated and the CPC exam is testing you on a broad base of knowledge, they normally will tell you what the history score is or the history level is, and they want to see if you're able to figure out the overall level, okay?